Hello and welcome to the Joe Ligato Show. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Ligato, and today we're going to be analyzing and providing commentary on the 2023 Edelman Trust Barometer Global Report. And we see here that they do this report, they've conducted this report across 28 countries. They have over 32,000 respondents, and they have about 1,150 respondents each. They've also been conducting this survey for 23 years. So they have a history of it. They know how to do this properly. Okay, what does this say? All right, they talk about significance. All right, they talk about their credentials a little bit here. All right, so they talk about the 4 forces that lead to polarization, and I'm assuming that means a lack of trust in society here. One is economic anxieties. Actually, wait, there was something else I wanted to go over up here. I do like this graphic here. They show Zelensky here, who's, I would say, a known liar. That is my opinion. They show Sam Bankman-Fried throwing a little bit of shade at Elon Musk, talking about Twitter here. They have a picture of the pandemic down here. Just interesting things. But anyways, back to these 4 forces. So we see economic anxieties is one. Economic optimism is collapsing around the world, with 24 of 28 countries seeing all-time lows in the number of people who think their families will be better off in 5 years. Wow. Okay, so a lot to talk about just here, which is that the vast majority of countries, all except 4, and I can't wait to see what those 4 are. I would imagine one is China, but all the other 24 countries think that their families will be worse off in 5 years. And when you think about that, that shows us that we are likely facing another Great Depression time, another World War I, World War II type of time. The entire time period, like right before World War I to the end of World War II, that's a really grim time throughout human history, and it's within living memory of quite a lot of people. Okay? And so the fact that there's a lot of indicators that we are going to be going through another time like that very soon, that should be concerning. That should worry you. You should be taking actions throughout your life to prepare for what seems to be the inevitable down part of this cycle of ups and downs throughout human civilization. Okay, so institutional imbalance is another force that is leading to polarization. Business is now the sole institution seen as competent and ethical. Government is viewed as unethical and incompetent. Business is under pressure to step into the void left by government. Oh, there's so many concerning things with that. One is, I'm shocked that people consider business to be ethical. There is numerous examples throughout history and in modern times where big businesses are not acting particularly ethically. In terms of competence, I wouldn't say they're particularly competent either. The boom bust cycle, as I've talked about in other videos, is supposed to get rid of the incompetent elements within the free market. And if you're not allowing those elements to be pruned, those incompetent elements to be pruned, then you don't have particularly competent businesses. So the fact that they're viewed as both competent and ethical in modern times is very surprising. And then when you consider the fact that the United States is, I would say, oligarchical led, then I would say it's concerning that people have a decoupling of their thoughts on big businesses versus government, because big businesses, in my worldview, and which seems to be backed up by data, big businesses control government. And so anything that you see wrong with government right now, that is because of big businesses, directly or indirectly. And then this last sentence, I'm very concerned that they wrote this in here, and I would like to see where they get this information from or why they think this. But they say business is under pressure to step into the void left by government. All right, well, if you've not watched Cyberpunk or played Cyberpunk 2077 or something like that, Understand that having mega corporations come in is a dystopian future, and we probably don't want that. We see a third force that leads to polarization here is the mass class divide. People in the top quartile of income live in a different trust reality than those in the bottom quartile, with 20-point gaps in Thailand, the United States, and Saudi Arabia. That's interesting. I would understand Saudi Arabia and United States, but whenever I'm reading things like this, I'm trying to figure out what information sticks out to me as something that surprises me. I would not expect. And putting Thailand in there tells me that maybe something is going on that I'm not expecting to happen in Thailand. If I had to guess, I believe they do have a Muslim demographic within their country, which is relatively sizable, that has been fighting against the Thailand government. So that's entirely possible that that kind of tension, religious tension within their country, and I would expect that because the majority Thailand population is non-Muslim, that the Muslim element is making up the bottom quartile. That would explain some of that class divide, that lack of trust based off of economic status. Another one might be the fact that Thailand, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Yes, they are a monarchical society, so maybe there's something going on with that based off of their form of governance. But Saudi Arabia makes complete sense given the current situation within Saudi Arabia. The extremely rich have gone extremely rich, and so they're able to trust each other and develop kind of coalitions, collaborate in order to continue to make money. United States, there's been a growing class divide, and it's not going to get better from everything I've seen. Okay, so looking at this fourth force that leads to polarization, the battle for truth. This is a big one. The information interweb, it's propaganda. It's all propaganda. Everything that you're seeing is, well, I don't want to say everything, but nearly everything you're seeing across things like social media, media, entertainment in general, it's propaganda to push certain narratives. You just see that with the Ukrainian war. We see here a shared media environment has given way to echo chambers, making it harder to collaboratively solve problems. Media is not trusted, with especially low trust in social media. I mean, no duh. This article, okay, so I was going into this expecting that they would understand the problem and understand that people's lack of trust is justified. But it's looking to me like they're kind of skeptical that people have reasons to lose trust in things like government. So let's continue reading on to see what they have to say here. Facing economic fears without a trust safety net. Okay, so what are we looking at here? My family and I will be better off in 5 years. Ooh. Okay. All right, what are these declines? So all of these are declines. Oh, wait. Okay, so where are the positives? Okay, so they don't have data on Sweden here. China? Okay. So in 5 years, yes, there's been an increase in people in China who say that they're going to be better off. Where's United States? Oh, there's United States. Wow, 36% is what they're currently at. Okay, so just looking at this isn't the best in terms of data visualization, but the bars are showing what the current level of trust, or what the current belief is. So how many people believe their family and I will be better off in 5 years? So in Kenya, 80% said they will be better off in 5 years. And that is down 11 percentage points since the last survey. So the last survey was 2022. Okay, so this is the change, 2022 to 2023. Okay, so let's look at the United States. The United States was 37 in terms of people who think they'll be better off, and now it is 36. I'm reading that right. Oh, I thought there were 4 here. that said they would be better off. I'm only seeing Sweden's not applicable, and then China is positive. So I don't know where the 4 are that they're talking about. Oh, they're also showing developed countries are in a blacker bar. Oh, it was 24 out of 28 countries are at an all-time low. That's interesting. Where does it show? Okay, it shows at the bottom which ones are at an all-time low. Okay, China. So if it has a red arrow, that means it's at an all-time low. China is not at an all-time low. Indonesia is not at an all-time low. South Africa is not at an all-time low. Where's the last one? I'm missing one. UAE, United Arab Emirates. Okay. So China is the only one that's increasing, and only 3 others are not at an all-time low. That's horrible. I mean, obviously it's all-time low. That's the worst it's ever been in a lot of these countries. Okay, so looking at this, personal anxiety is on par with existential fears. Personal economic fears, 89% have personal economic fears, so job loss, and 74% inflation, percent who worry about, okay. Climate change, that's an existential societal fear, nuclear war, food shortages, energy shortages. Okay, I would say that nuclear war should be higher than climate change here, at least by a little bit. And I thought people would be more worried about inflation, but considering this is across many different countries, I can understand why people wouldn't be worried about inflation. Inflation is happening at a much faster rate in countries like Turkey or countries like Argentina than it is in, say, countries like China. If you tease this apart, I'm sure inflation concerns would be higher in places like Turkey and Argentina. The business only trusted institution, very surprising. Okay, let's see here. Oh, business is least trusted in South Korea. That actually is very surprising for me because South Korea is so like centered around Samsung. I guess they've had a number of like cult dramas, like things that have gone wrong based off of like religious cults taking over their government. And the religious cults have also taken over things like various businesses, from what I understand. That I can kind of understand why South Koreans don't trust big business. Japan, Spain, I don't really have any comments on any of those. Now, the NGOs, which stands for non-governmental organizations, I think those numbers should be far less. People should not trust those NGOs whatsoever. Government, Argentina, poor Argentina with their high inflation rates. I can understand that. South Africa, their government's not successful. Media, again, those numbers should be lower. No one should trust their media. Okay, interesting. Let's see, what did they have here? Neutral, trust. Okay, so overall, business is the most trusted of these. I'm very surprised that it's that high, though. Government's less trusted than business. Okay, let's see what this is trying to say. Trust in business versus trust in government. Okay, so, we can see that if there's a negative number here for the bars, that means that government is trusted more. So let's look at where government is trusted more than business. Okay, government is trusted more than business in places like Sweden, China, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Singapore. So a lot of really strong Asian powers. And then you see here that business is trusted more in places like South Africa, Argentina, where inflation is extremely high, Nigeria, which they don't have a particularly strong central government, and they also have problems in terms of choosing their president based off of like they used to rotate between Christian and Muslim presidents, but from what I understand, that agreement has been pushed aside, and now that's just like whoever takes it wins. Either way is really silly. It's either a popularity contest or you're choosing based off of a person's religion. And again, that's just a popularity contest dependent on religion. You see here Colombia, Kenya. Okay, United States has pretty low trust in both government and business. But yeah, government is slightly lower there. But you can see here, just looking at absolute values, in China, people trust their government and people trust businesses. It's 84% trust business and 89% trust government. In the United States, it's 55% trust business and 42% trust government. So if you have almost double the amount of people trust in business and over double the amount of people who trust government in China, I mean, that seems like a better system, does it not? If the system is supposed to represent the people, then that is definitively a better system. These are the metrics that matter, right? But people don't like hearing that. They just like to hear anti-China garbage being spewed by Western media. Government and media fuel cycle of trust, distrust, seen as sources of misleading information. Okay? Source of false or misleading information is black, and a reliable source of trustworthy information is gray. Okay, so these data visualization techniques are not particularly the best, but let's look at this. Oh, I'm surprised that they don't consider NGOs to be a source of false or misleading information, because I mean, those are in large parts the most prominent, most well-known NGOs. The most impactful NGOs are ones that are created directly by the intelligence community, so you should absolutely not trust a single thing they say. We see here business and NGOs are much more trusted than government and media. Interesting. Oh, wait. Yeah. Reliable source is trustworthy. Wait a minute. Yeah. Business and NGOs are trusted more. That's what I'm. Yeah. Institutional leaders are distrusted. Let's see here. Okay. So people don't trust government leaders, journalists, or CEOs. They do trust citizens of their own country to a decent extent. They trust their local community slightly more. They trust their neighbors slightly more than that. Their CEO. Oh, they actually trust their own CEO more than CEOs overall, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why you would really expect your own CEO to be more trustworthy than the CEOs of other companies. I mean, I guess everyone kind of hopes that they work for a better company than other companies, but still, they trust their coworkers. That's kind of concerning. So they trust their coworkers more than they trust people in their local community or their neighbors. I don't know what to think about that, aside from people spend entirely too much time focus on their job and not enough time focus in their local community, but that's just a concerning finding. And then scientists, people trust scientists. I would say too much, because science is overly funded by big businesses and government, and they don't want you to be particularly honest. They want you to push certain narratives. Okay, so there is a class divide. Income-based inequality creates two trust realities. Okay, so red's distrust, gray is neutral, and blue is trust. Okay, greatest income-based trust inequality: Thailand, United States, Saudi Arabia, China. China's an interesting one to put up there. I was not expecting that. Japan, United Arab Emirates. Okay, so let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, where's China there? Oh, okay. So high income people. I guess this makes sense. So China is a leader no matter what you're looking at, whether it's high or low income. China is top in terms of trust index. So that tells you that their government is functioning incredibly well, I would say. Now, the interesting thing here is there's a wide disparity, a 19-point disparity between high income and low income in terms of trust in China. What can I extract from that information? Well, I think it is that if you create a well put together government that incentivizes good things and disincentivizes bad things, then the people who are most successful and most adept at climbing the ranks within that nation state are going to be very satisfied. They're going to trust what's going on. And so that explains the 90% trust factor for high income people, because they understand this is a very consistent system. People know exactly what to expect to get ahead in life, et cetera, et cetera. You can see 63% for United States down there. So very far fewer people actually trust the system in America. They don't trust that things are going to go well if they do the proper things. Whereas 71% in China for low income. I guess that would tell me that some people don't necessarily think they'll get ahead. They can't trust other people based off of that system. But yeah, I'm trying to extract certain facts from this, and I don't know what to extract. I don't know what to believe here. But let's just move on. Trust at home does not guarantee trust abroad. Okay. China and India face massive trust deficits abroad. Foreign trust in companies' headquarters in each market. Okay, so if it's a Chinese company, other countries around the world, do they trust it? So domestic trust in companies, 90%, but then 32% for China abroad. And that just, I think, tells you that people, how do I want to put this? People are believing the propaganda that America is spewing. China has really great products. I buy a lot of Chinese products. But America has propaganda as you to believe that China is still only producing low quality products. And because of that, you're considering them to be less trustworthy. You're not trusting their businesses. Okay, so United States domestically considers themselves a little bit more trustworthy than people abroad consider them. Interesting that you have some countries like Japan, Germany, and Canada where people actually trust their products less than abroad. Oh wait, no. That is just Japan and Germany. Okay, so domestically, they trust their companies less than people abroad trust their companies. So I do think that's the case that Japanese and German products, if you see their products from those countries, people abroad do tend to trust them more. Okay. Severely polarized, moderately polarized, less polarized. Okay, so let's look at the countries. Ooh, Argentina is very polarized. Oh, they also have, okay, so they have two separate dimensions they're looking at. My country is very extremely divided, and I do not feel these divisions can be overcome. Okay, so that's interesting. So if things are further to the right, then that means that the problems are considered to be less fixable. And if things are higher, that means that there's more of a problem currently. So really, I'm focused on the left-right dimension right now. Okay, so yeah, places like United States and South Africa are deeply divided, and the problems are likely to be hard to overcome. That's exactly what I was expecting. Same with Argentina. Sweden, I don't know what to think about Sweden here. So it's not the most divided of countries, but it is deeply entrenched. I think what I would take away from this is, from what I understand, Sweden had a very open immigration policy. And before its open immigration policy, Sweden had very low bombing rates. They had very low sexual assault rates. And after the high amounts of immigration to their country, they're like the bomb capital of the European Union, or I should say the bomb capital of Europe. They have more explosions occurring in Sweden than any other country in Europe, and they have very high sexual assault rates. And so I think for them, their division is mostly, are they going to be able to become a multicultural country? And they do not think that they're actually able to become a multicultural country because people are not assimilating. Well, I should say those are two opposite things, multiculturalism and assimilation. But they're kind of stuck becoming a multicultural country instead of assimilating people. And it's not leading to it's not a good thing. It's not been particularly beneficial for them as a country. There's been a lot of increased crime that is unlikely to go down. So interesting things here. And let me see what else. Okay, so there's a set of countries that are in danger of extreme polarization. Italy's in there, deeply entrenched. Japan, UK, Germany, Netherlands. So you're seeing a lot of like strongly Western allied countries that are in very severe decline. It's interesting to see here that China is not particularly divided. I mean, it's the second lowest in terms of divisions. So that tells you a lot. That's a really good thing for the future of China. And people just don't believe this. They think all these bad things about China, but China is actually doing very, very, very well for itself right now. Okay. I think I've been talking about this for quite a while, so I'm going to cut us off here, and then I will make a part 2 for this article because it goes into a lot of depth. It's 71 pages, and I'm only on 17 right now. So if you want to hear more about trust in various societies, 28 different societies across the world, come back for part 2 of this video. Thank you for sticking with us. If you like this video, please provide us a thumbs up, please subscribe to our channel, and please provide comments in the comment box below. Thank you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.